guys, welcome back. Thanks for joining us for yet another video, and in this video I'm going to go over a real live day trade that I made on Tesla in May of 2022. This is a real live trade using real money. This is not paper trading. Some of you out there might be wondering, this is the real deal. So we're going to go over that trade in detail. Now, in a previous video I laid out what I think is the best stock scalping strategy out there for day trading stocks. If you haven't already seen that video I made, I suggest you finish this video, stick around all the way till the end of this video, and I'll have a link to that video for the day trading strategy at the end for you guys. So this video here is sort of a follow-up to that strategy video where I lay out in detail the strategy that I use every day. So in this follow-up video, I wanted to show you guys a real life trade example of the strategy that I talk about in action, so that way we can see how we can implement the strategy in real life for real money. So let's get started. Here is the setup that I'm looking for. I'm looking for a breakdown or breakout type of trade in the first 30 minutes to 60 minutes of the market open. So that's the setup that I'm looking for. So as you can see here, this is a chart of Tesla about 7 to 8 minutes after the market opens. This is a 1 minute candlestick chart right when the market opens. And what I've circled here is number 1. And I'm looking for a breakdown of that support level, of the horizontal line that I've got drawn there. And if that support breaks, I'm anticipating that Tesla is going to go down 5, 10, 20 points. So my job is just to scalp the move. I'm not looking to hold this for 50 points or 100 points or whatever happens. Like I said, I don't try to predict what stocks are going to do. I just go with the setups that I know, which is a breakdown of support. So in this situation, I would short at number 1, and I'd look for that downside, and I'm going to be in and out of this trade relatively quickly. So that's the setup. Now let's get into the trade. So as you can see, down roughly $700. Probably took a trade on this, maybe to the long side or short side. I'm not sure. So the next setup that I see here again is that number 1 that I had circled in the previous chart. I'm looking for a breakdown of 700. This is a key support level from the pre-market too, as you can see. I'm getting in short 100 shares. I'm going to add to this trade once I see that it's going my way. So now I'm in 200 shares short of Tesla, and immediately I take off a little piece. Now it's popping back up towards the VWAP. And now I have to be careful, right? If this thing rips back up over 705, 710, I'm going to be out of the trade. I'll take the loss and I'll move on. But I do need to be patient here and give it a little bit of wiggle room because Tesla moves several points in either direction, so we got to be patient. And now looks like things are working. I'm taking off another piece here on the bid, and I do get filled there, 25 shares, and now we are in the driver's seat. Now we've got 150 shares short of Tesla. Our price is about $699.50. I'm looking for just about maybe 10 to 15 points out of this trade. Now, can it go lower? Of course it can. It can go to 670, 660, 650. I don't know. Nobody knows. My job is to just take the profits when I have them. And the other thing is I want to look at the technical analysis. I want to see how the trend is moving. I want to see if this chart continues to form lower lows and lower highs. That's going to tell me that the trend is intact to the downside. But as you can see here, I've already taken off most of my trade. I only have 50 shares short now, and I've turned my red day into a green day. Now I'm up almost $600, and I'm going to try to take off smaller pieces now and try to hold on to as much as I can for the bigger move. Since I've already gotten that $10 that I was looking for, now anything else is just icing on the cake. So I'm going to look to take pieces off when I see high velocity candles, such as this one that it's going down. I'm going to start taking pieces off, but I'm going to leave that little piece on. I still have 30 shares, just so that if it does dump down to like 670, I'm not going to kick myself for not having at least a small piece in the trade. So taking pieces off as it's going down is what I do, and I'm going to continue to take profits as soon as I have them. So only got 20 shares left here. Now, any sign of a pullback, any sign of a bid getting in here, I'm going to be looking to cut, take my profits, and pretty much be done with the day. So now I've only got 10 shares left, and it's made a nice move. I mean, it's dropped from 720s, 715s to 680. That's a pretty big drop, right? I mean, that's almost a $40 drop on Tesla. So this thing has huge range. That's why I love to day trade Tesla. It has such an amazing range for a large cap that you can really scalp this in and out all day. And as long as you have a winning strategy, you're going to be able to pull profits from the market. So now that we see here, this is the setup that we took. Number one, we got that breakdown of support of the $700 level. We wrote it down. We exited when we first saw the sign of the bids coming up in there and getting stronger around that 680 mark. And by that time, we didn't have much size left anyway. So any sign of a pullback, I wanted to get out, and I did, and that was around that 685 mark. That's when I exited the trade, and as you can see, it made a V-shaped recovery right back up to the top, right where in the morning it made a highs around 715 area. And if you had held on to it thinking that it's going to go lower, let me wait for a bigger move, you can see that, instead of being green on the trade, it would have spiked right back just in a few minutes, back to 700 where we entered, and then you would have been minus $20 in your trade because it went up as high as 720, right? So that's why, taking profits is super, super important, as I laid out in my previous video, that we're scalping here. And while I do want to leave little pieces on to capture those, longer range moves that sometimes Tesla is known to do, where it moves 50 points in a day, fine. It's fine to leave a small piece on to get that piece of the bigger range. But you definitely want to be cognizant of what is going on. Are the bids creeping back in? And if there's volume that's coming in on the bids, then you really want to look to cover your scalp. Because remember one thing, you can always re-enter your short, okay? Just because you take a loss in your trade or you were wrong, it's not the end of the world. You cut it, you take a loss, or you take a smaller profit than you wanted, and then you look for the next setup. In this case, you could have shorted it a second time at number 3 on the breakdown of 705, that support that it made around 9:50 in the morning market time. So you could have shorted at number 3 again if you wanted to, cut your losses and reshort it. You could have done that. But the last thing you want to do is just hold on to it of your short at 700 and hope that, it's going to go lower, because as you can see, it completely reversed later on. Right after 10 a.m. market time, it went as high as 750. So if you're holding on to these trades, hoping and praying that, okay, well, it turned around, but it's got to go down, I highly suggest you don't do that, and stick to your stops. Have your mental stops or have a hard stop in the system where if you are wrong on the trade, you're out, because there's always another setup, right? You can also flip long at number 4, right? You could have seen, okay, this thing's made a higher low, right, at around that 10 a.m. mark, around 670, where it made that low. That's a higher low, right, from the 680. So now it's made a low, a higher low. Now that tells me that the sellers wanted to push this thing down, but there's too many buyers here that held the stock up at around the 700 mark. And then it started trickling up slowly to 710. This is actually a pretty good long setup, right? And that's why at number 4, that's a great breakout long setup for a scalp trade. So, always be aware of what's going on. Don't be overly biased that this is short, and just because it dropped $40, in the first 10 minutes doesn't mean it can continue to go down. You just always have to be aware of what the current demand and supply levels are in the stock. And if it's telling you, if the chart is telling you that, look, this is not going down anymore, it tried twice, now it's bounced up, so maybe you should flip long. So that's something super, super important, to always be ready to switch your bias if the chart's telling you to. So we made a profit of about $899 in this scalp trade. That was super nice. We turned a red day into a green day, so that was beautiful. And again, if you haven't seen my other video that goes over my entire scalping strategy, I'm going to link it right here as I promised at the end of this video. So here you go. There should be a link at the bottom where you can click to get to that video. And again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next video.